What's inside your head? It's real!
We didn't cover that last time. And you weren't here either. What's your point?
For the last time, my name is not Mr. Blandy.
Oh, face it, you have less depth than I do.
Does anyone know why the bad dreams are of the Master when he isn't doing anything time-related? Shouldn't everyone be dreaming of this?
Spoilers.
You should not have delayed.
I got all the time I want. I got a time machine.
That was how I had my third bunion removed. All hail Rassilon's third bunion!
If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting. Time after time. Time after time.
What the hell are you wearing?
I wear a fez now. Fezzes are cool. Hey! I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't want to blame Russell T Davies for this mess. The man's an avid Doctor Who fanboy. He was instrumental in bringing back the show, and he's in large part responsible for bringing us one of the most beloved Doctors of all time. And yet he continually gives us some of those poorly written and ill-thought-out episodes of the entire new series.
That's what's so baffling. Everyone else is pointing out all the stops here. The production work is great. Tennant and Cribbins are pouring their souls into the acting. Murray Gold has composed some of his most gorgeous music to date. But Davies just gave us this.
It is returning, and he is returning, and they are returning.
And this.
The Secret Books of Saxon.
And this.
Pork and beef are fat.
But hey, it can only go up from here, right?
Somebody get the shovel away from Mr. Davies!
Part 2 starts with what appears to be the Inner Council of the Time Lords meeting on the final day of the Time War and... oh, look, they have a rambling, incoherent mystic too.
Pitch and screaming fire, so burning.
So because of her mad prophecies, which must be true because she keeps repeating them over and over again, they know that the Doctor is going to time lock them. They also know that he and the Master will survive and have a final confrontation on Earth. So they decide that is their way out. Also, the President kills some woman because he is evil.
Which brings us to this charming little moment where the acting is so bad it's positively zen. On the one hand, we have Timothy Dalton trying to force so much ham into his acting he'd offend low-flying Hebrews.
I will not die! Do you hear me? You'll never run far enough!
And on the other hand, we have the mystic reciting words from the dictionary
Ending, burning, falling.
and trying to cough up a hairball. That's the wisdom of the Time Lords, folks.
Cutting back to Earth, we find the Doctor, Wilfred, and...
The Master Race.
I have to admit here, I really like the Master's plan. Turning the entire population of the Earth into himself was a really unique plot idea. The problem is it's mostly played for laughs. And way too many questions are left unanswered.
Does he have a hive mind? If not, how did he choreograph that little performance for the Doctor at the end of the last episode? If so, why does the original keep giving commands?
In fact, that one stands regardless. Why are all the others taking commands? That's not a trait the Master is known for.
Not only does the show not answer these questions, it doesn't even seem to know itself. In some cases, the Master knows exactly what his clones are doing. At other points, he needs to be told.
Everyone on Wessex Lane, red alert.
What do I do?
And if you really want to get confused, take a look at this one.
This prophecy of yours, Doctor, where did it come from?
So, through a useless cell phone call, the Master finds out about Donna, who, despite the cliffhanger, doesn't actually remember anything yet. So the Master sends himself out to get her, which causes her to remember.
Patty!
But instead of dying, she just lets out a wave of energy that knocks all of him over. Then she passes out. So all of that stuff about her dying if she remembered, it was a lie.
Cutting back, we get a bit of chatting between the Doctor and the Master, showing us once again that these two could be friends.
You could be beautiful.
Really good friends.
With a mind like that, we could travel the stars. It would be my honor.
Okay, the Doctor practically proposes.
Wonder what I'd be without you.
Every kiss begins with K.
Well, the Master seems to give the idea some consideration, but decides instead to explore the exciting new sensations he can experience with 7 billion plus bodies at his fingertips.
Stop trying to make this sound like erotic fanfic. Erotic fanfic has way better writing.
The Master figures that with so many bodies, he can now triangulate where the drumming in his head is coming from. What's that? Did we forget to mention that little bit? Yeah. The last time the Master showed up, Davies retconned him so that everything he's ever done from Terror of the Autons to now is due to the incessant drumming in his head, which he got when the Time Lords made him stare into the Time Vortex as a young child. Because they make all young children do that on Gallifrey.
You looked into the Time Vortex, Rose. No one's meant to see that.
Shh! Last episode, the Doctor heard it, which means, surprise, it isn't actually a symptom of madness.
If you're wondering why we didn't cover this last time, it's because we were afraid we would lose our place. Speaking of which, where were we again? Ah, yes, the Master needs a TARDIS to trace the drums. But before he can break out his novelty thumbscrews, the Cactus people enact a painfully stupid rescue that serves no purpose other than padding out the episode and letting us put yakety sax into this review. After giving the audience its daily recommended dose of slapstick, they teleport the Doctor and Wilfred to their ship. Undaunted, the Master just waits till nightfall and triangulates the signal anyway.
Night has fallen. Are we ready? Every single one of us is prepared.
He said he needed the TARDIS to do that! How the hell are you supposed to triangulate a signal from the future if you're not temporally displaced? And please don't tell me he was insinuating he needed to wait till nightfall. He's on a globe! All around it! It's always night somewhere! Hey!
The Time Lords sent the signal through time, despite being time-locked, because they saw, despite being time-locked, that the Master would escape the war and that they, despite being time-locked, could use him to escape. Don't question it, they have a mystic. But for some reason, a snazzy beat you can dance to is no basis for a trans-temporal link. So they send him, despite being time-locked,
a white point star.
Sounds high-tech and science fiction-y, but as far as I can tell, it's just a diamond from Gallifrey. But for some reason, the Master can use it to build a machine to complete the link.
Up on the ship, Wilfred runs into the ghost of plot device Future, and she rambles on cryptically. The entire conversation takes about 1.5 minutes and says precisely... It's not kidding. That's all we get. Wilfred even asks her who she is, and she just blatantly dodges the question and vanishes.
So now we get a scene that is both touching and broken. Both actors really managing to get a great emotional interchange out of something shameful. Wilfred tries to get the Doctor to take the gun, and naturally, the Doctor refuses. The two argue for a bit, with Wilfred making some very good cases for killing the Master.
And don't you dare, sir. Don't you dare put him before them.
And the Doctor still, badly, refuses.
And that's how the Master started.
Really? I thought he started because the Time Lords put a drumbeat in his head!
In the end, though, this is not a case for violence. It is not about what the Master deserves. It is about reaffirming who the Doctor is. No matter how dire the situation, he will not walk into it prepared to kill. If people die, it is because it was unavoidable, not because he was already entertaining the possibility.
I never would. Have you got that? I never would.
A minute later, the Master sends out an open broadcast telling the Doctor about the White Point Star and the Time Lords. And the Doctor immediately grabs the gun.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say touching reaffirmation of the Doctor's identity? I meant badly written drivel that's used to exploit the Doctor's long-held beliefs to make the threat seem credible. Russell T Davies, you hack!
It's at this point that the show stops even pretending to be decent and starts a flat-out run towards the end, in the vain, desperate hope that if it's fast enough, we won't notice all the crap.
It turns out that the Time Lords are hideously evil and insane, perhaps the most destructive thing the universe could ever face. Yeah, that's a bit of a change. Could we have perhaps had some sort of indication of this?
But I've heard you talk about your people like they're wonderful.
That's how I choose to remember them. The Time Lords of old.
No. I cry bullshit on that one. There is no indication that the Time Lords ever went insane. In fact, in a previous episode, the Doctor was overjoyed to find another Time Lord, until he found out it was the Master.
It's a paper-thin explanation, and Davies seems to know it, because the episode immediately launches into an action comedy sequence with the Doctor and friends trying to pilot the ship down through a swarm of missiles.
There's an old Earth saying, Captain. A phrase of great power and wisdom, and consolation to the soul in times of need.
What's that then?
Allons-y!
And it's a real shame that this scene is being used as the cinematic equivalent of tile grout, because it's really good, right up until the end when... Wait a minute. No. This is that scene. You are not foisting that scene off on me.
Oh, come on! I did the Secret Books of Saxon scene!
And I did the superpower scene.
Snake Eyes. You all suck! Fine. The Time Lords start breaking through, and so the Doctor takes the ship on what appears to be a kamikaze run. But at the last second, he pulls up and leaps out of the ship. The Doctor, flying straight up at jet speeds, opens a hatch, takes a few seconds to smile at Wilfred, and then hops out without a parachute. Oh yeah, he crashes through the skylight onto the stone floor below, and he's still alive. In fact, not only alive, he's only stunned.
Stunned?
Oh my God. What was going through Davies' head when he wrote that? The Doctor isn't immune to falling damage. He's died from it before. As a longtime fan of the show, Davies had to know that. He doesn't even try to explain it. There's no technobabble. There are no special effects indicating something's happening. Nothing. Did Davies think that kind of fall was survivable? Was there some kind of deleted scene that explained it? Listen to me. This is so awful. I'm literally wishing for more of Davies' bad writing.
My scientist also figured out the opposite of falling damage. It's called a trampoline.
Get your hands off me, you damn curvy ape.